Hey everyone, welcome to episode 7 of the Flower Farm podcast. I have a Flower Farm community member, Toni, here with us, who just came back with a golden Mickey, getting top 8 at Ghent. So congratulations, Toni. And in today's episode, what we're going to go over is just preparing for a DLC, how Toni prepares for a DLC, how he improved, how he got better. Because like we said earlier, this was his very first DLC and he was able to accomplish some amazing results. So Toni, would you like to introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, thank you for having me. So my name is Toni. I'm from Finland, a really small Lorcana community here. And yeah, I happen to be the first from any Nordic European countries to win a Golden Mickey. Yeah.
So now you can go around in all of Nordic Europe and be like, I am the only one.
Yeah, and Finland and Sweden have this big brother, little brother dynamic. So anytime a Finnish person wins over the Swedish people, it's like a huge thing. So
Yes. Yeah. Kind of like in football?
Ice hockey mostly.
Or ice hockey, sorry. Yours, area ice hockey over there. Yeah.
If we beat Sweden, it doesn't matter how we place in the tournament, as long as we win Sweden.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So why don't we just start with what deck you brought, right? So tell us, like, what deck did you bring? How did you decide on bringing this deck?
Yeah, so I played Blurple, and I've loved Blurple since I started in set 6. I came over from Magic, so the first thing when I started looking into Lorcana cards was, okay, do we have ramp? Okay, yeah, we have ramp. Where is the card draw? Oh, okay, I'm gonna play Blurple.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so I played Blurple in every set except for Fabled. I was a little hesitant to put my money on Dumbo.
I see.
So I went over to Green-Blue for Fabled. Actually paid off. I got 2 set championships match.
Nice.
But after Fabled, I was like, okay, I want Dumbos. Yeah, let's go back to Blurple.
I see. So basically, you are a Blurple for life, like one of us.
Yeah.
You playing Blurple forever. So I guess the decision was easy for you because you didn't have another choice, basically.
Yeah, like I have all the tier 1 decks, at least the cards for them. I like to play casual games with like any kind of deck just to get a sense, and I have some friends who are more casual about the game, so I try to build like funny decks to play against them. But yeah, competing, I just love Blurple. I think it's the one deck that actually can do anything. You can build it to do anything.
So that's how you ended up just choosing Blurple. Like it's just your favorite deck. Like ever since beginning. So like you're gonna play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was not that huge updates for the deck, so it was easy to start practicing with it.
Okay. So like let's talk about your list then. What you brought was maybe like I guess pretty standard. I think one of the things that is not pretty standard in your list is like Rafiki instead of the octopus. Right?
Yeah.
Well, what made you choose? What made you choose that?
Yeah, I wanted the Rafiki because it always hits for 3, and its job is to be there to stop the opponent's 1 and 2 cost characters from questing. So I wanted to always hit for 3. It deals with the double colored lady really well.
Right.
It stops Captain Hook. It stops Calhoun from questing. So like, I'm assuming that the one drop, it's gonna get one good trade and it's gonna die. I don't need it to hit for 5.
Oh, okay. So you just cared more about the more early game, more aggressive decks, more.
Yeah, because like for the more mid-range decks and the control decks, I have other answers for them. My one drop doesn't need to deal with them.
That makes sense. I also see that like you end up playing Tigger. A lot of people were on ISIS this weekend, but you chose Tigger.
Yeah, Tigger is nice because like inkable, obviously, and Isis is uninkable, and Isis, if you want to play her on turn 3, you really need to have that Rafiki out. If you accept an opposing character and you don't have anything to hit it with, then what's the point?
That's true. Because like if we look at like the top placing Blurple list, right? You got top 8 and the other guy was in top 4 that lost his hand.
Yeah.
I think those are the 2 highest placing Blurple lists over the weekend. And your lists are almost identical. Like he was also on the Tiggers too.
Yeah, Tigger did a really good job there. Like, of course, Dogs is the deck you want him for. It takes out the tree, well, bounces it, so Tramp is a turn or 2 behind, and then if you go for Rails at the turn after, the Tramp is gonna be really hard to get down. But also, Tigger works against other decks as well. Like against Purple Steel, if you bounce their Calhoun, it's really good. Like many times people started to quest with their Captain Hooks because they had the Calhoun ready. So if my Rafiki goes for the Captain Hook, their Calhoun will get them too low.
Yeah.
But if I bounce the Calhoun, kill the Hook, they have nothing left.
Yeah.
Then they play their 3 drop and their strength the turn after kills nothing.
And the game just feels like it's over at that point.
Yeah. Like I played against Purple Steel 5 times.
Okay.
4 of them were 2-0 for me.
All 4 of them?
Yeah.
4 out of 5?
Yeah, just one player got 1 win against me.
There's also a key detail that you're leaving out here. How many times were you on the draw?
I was on the draw a lot.
You were?
Yeah.
I have your run here.
Okay.
In your Swiss rounds that you sent to me.
Yeah.
So in your first 8 rounds, you were on the draw 5 times out of the 8 rounds.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And you 2-0'd Purple Steel, both of them were on the play, and then the third one was on the draw that you got 2-1 in day 1.
Yeah. Yeah. Also the 2 Purple Steels I played in Top Cut, they were on the play.
They were on the play, okay.
Yeah.
So in your Top Cut, yeah.
Yeah, and 2 or both of them.
Nice. All because of Tigger?
Yeah, I think in every round Tigger was in at least 1 game. Because like, well, in the Top Cut we had the open deck list, but in the Swiss rounds I tried to mulligan when I was on the blind. I always mulliganed like it was Dogs against me.
So do you ever wish then you had more Tiggers then if Tigger was so good this weekend?
Yeah, like afterwards I was like, there's 2 Yagos on the list. One of them could easily be a Tigger.
Yeah. It was that good, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Maybe should have played 4.
Any other changes you think you would make?
Well, if there's only one Yago left, I might as well swap it for Into the Unknown so that the whole deck is 4 copies of everything.
Okay. How about like Hypnotic Strength? Because there were a lot of Yagos I saw in like the list again. Like, what do you think? Maybe
Yeah.
that would be an option too?
Yeah, that was actually one option we were considering instead of the Yago. Like, the one thing I wanted Yago for is for the Blurple mirror when I'm on the draw turn 3, because it makes their Elsa really hard. Only if they play Hypnotic Strength on it, they can play Elsa. And if they Into the Unknown it, they use their Elsa to exert my Yago and their Genie to sing it, so they gained no lore, and I got 1 ink out of it. So that was the only crucial turn I wanted Yago for.
Okay.
But yeah, the night before we were considering swapping it for Hypnotic Strength because of all the other Yagos. But then we were thinking about it, and the reason why we decided on Yago was that it's better to have it's better for you to have the threat and have your opponent answer it than just having answers for the threat without your own threats. Like,
that's a good point.
Yeah, force your opponent to have it rather than try to have it yourself.
Right. That's a good point though, because like in Lorcana, a lot of times like being the more proactive player, making your opponent respond to you, usually is better than you trying to react to them all the time, right?
Yeah, it's the game is built in such a way that everyone who tries to control the opponent, they have to be the one to catch up. As in other card games, it's usually your opponent has to take you out when they are the aggro player. And you just have to stay alive in those games.
Good point. Good point. Were there any other card considerations that you guys were going over? Like maybe like a one of tech card, wasabi, things of that nature?
Yeah, I was thinking about wasabis and alleys, maybe a hideaway, but then during the last 2 weeks, the dogs started to drop the Chromicon and go for under the seas. And the Chromicon is like the only item that scared me.
Okay.
Maybe a little the Black Cauldron in Amber Sapphire.
Right.
Like, but yeah, dogs were dropping the Chromicon, and I was expecting it to be mostly dogs, Purple Steel, and Blurple, as it was. Like,
as it was, yeah.
Yeah, like 65-70% of the meta.
Yeah.
But yeah, also I considered the library for some time because I was a little scared of Amber Sapphire. And the library just wins you the game because you force them to board wipe you. And then you put down the library. They play a character, you play Hades on their character. They play Hades on you, and you just keep taking out your characters, so the library will just get you the lore passively.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, but a friend of mine pointed out that Amber Sapphire is like 4% of the meta, so might not be worth taking for it.
Yeah.
Guess what I faced round 2?
Amber Sapphire.
Yeah.
But you won?
Yeah, I managed to beat them. Like,
it's not.
Yeah,
so it's not like you can't beat them without your tech cards, right?
Yeah, I just had to keep in mind that Uh, always keep cards in hand. Always try to draw more. That's the way Blurple wins against like the heavy control decks, except for Clarabelle. You just have more cards than them. And then another thing was to always put their Hades into the Inkwell, so they can't take it back with the Cauldron.
That's smart. That's smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So like speaking of dogs, because you touched on dogs earlier, right?
Hey.
So dogs, obviously, it won the Melbourne DLC. It won Sailor won Ink the weekend before. That's why you said going into this weekend, like most of the dogs lists were like not on Chromacon anymore. And everyone's like, dogs is the best deck. You know, you have to be able to beat it. Blurple can't beat it. How did you find the dogs matchup? Because you did play quite a bit number of dogs too.
Yeah, the ones without Chromicon, it's definitely a tough match, but it is beatable. And I did beat them 3 times. I'll admit it, I got a little lucky. Like
You need a little bit of luck.
yeah, like round 8 against Patrick. He was also in top 4. I played him in round 8. We go into the last game, and man, that was a tough game. Like, he had this board where he has the 1-cost lady and a grandmother willow. I play my Elsa, and now I have to think, if I take out the lady, he cannot shift and sing Under the Sea. But if I take out the willow, he can't play tramp next turn. And usually they want to go for the tramp first. So I go and take out the willow. What does he do? Shift lady, sing Under the Sea. I claw myself back into the game.
Okay.
And I play another Elsa. And again, I'm in the same situation. There's a little lady and there's a willow. This time I'm like, okay, I learned from my mistake. I'm gonna take out the lady. And he plays tramp. And turn after he sings down the sea. I managed to get everything off the board. He's at like 17 or more. So he's close to winning. But I just quest out. His turn starts, he draws, pass. I'm
What?
Like, what? I quest out. Then again he goes, draw, pass. He drew the 2 other Under the Seas.
Oh,
after
man.
already playing 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was my last
rough.
game of day 1.
That's rough.
Yeah. Also round 12 against dogs. In the first game, he has 3 Under the Seas in hand.
Wow.
Yeah. And the last game, he top decks 2 Under the Seas, and we are at the point where if he plays a Tamago, he won. And we checked his top decks. He was like 1 card away from the Tamago.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah. So close games.
Very close.
Yeah, definitely not easy, but doable with a little luck.
Yeah. So would you say that Blurple is unfavored into dogs, like everyone says?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's as unfavored as some people claim, but definitely the dogs have an advantage.
Yeah, for sure.
But like, if you are on the play, you can, and you have the right hand, you are gonna win. And I think, well, that should go for every deck.
Every deck, yeah.
Yeah. If you are on the play and you have the cards you want, you should win.
Yep. Yep. That's fair. That's fair. Because like I think like especially at like high level play, right?
Okay?
A lot of like both players usually are not going to be making mistakes,
Yeah.
right? So a lot of the times it does come down to a lot of luck and who top decks better as well, right? Because like in your
Yeah.
case, like your opponent's top deck Under the Sea, whereas they could have top decked a character.
Yeah.
Or you could have also, top decked a Tipo and not like an Elsa, and then you're in trouble,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's also why I like Blurple, because you have so many good top decks in the deck. And also you have so many ways to draw cards so that you have multiple top decks to look for the right cards. And like if you have a Dumbo on board, it costs 1 ink to draw a card. If you have a book in play, it's 1 ink to draw 2. So
Okay.
so it's a lot easier to dig for the answers.
So I think you messaged us. I think that after after you made Top Cut,
Yeah.
or when you at the end of the day, I think you said that you out of your 14 rounds you played, 12 of them were on the draw.
Whoa, really?
Is it 12 or you had or it was like something? Yeah,
Yeah, I think.
or like something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, I think I was on the draw a lot.
yeah. So that's like something I want to touch on, like, because like a lot of people will say that, like, okay, obviously on the play is very favored in Lorcana for the on the play player, right? Like for sure. But like in order to win, especially in a DLC, to win a lot of rounds, you do have to be able to win on the draw, right? It's not just like, oh, I'm on the draw, I automatically lost the best of 3, right? So like, I guess what is your biggest advice or tips for people for like winning on the draw? Because like you obviously did it, Zan, DKP, Ed, like all these great players, they all also win on the draw a lot of the time. So like, how do you manage that?
It's actually something I learned from you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you have to build your deck in a way that you have a lot of cards that are good on the draw. Because if you only have cards in your deck that are good on the play, then your chances on the draw are far smaller. Like if you just play genies and other cards that go really fast and are good on the draw on the play, then you have to play hyper aggro or
so for example, in Blurple, it's like playing no Tiggers and just only playing like Iago or something like that.
Yeah.
Or just playing like what's another on the play card that Blurple uses?
And genies, dumbos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could never catch up to the dogs on the draw if I just played those cards.
But apart from just having cards on the draw, right? So that's like a deck building thing to give you a chance, playing things like Tigger, Iago, things like that to be better on the draw.
Yeah.
Like when you're approaching the game as the on the draw player, like what kind of things are you thinking of? Like what kind of things are you trying to do on the draw that you're different than on the play?
Well, the inking decisions, depending on the matchup, of course, but like on the draw, I don't try to draw that many cards at first.
Okay.
The only thing I'm trying to do is slow my opponent down.
Okay.
Like every action I take is to slow down the opponent, win the board for myself, so that then I'm in the lead. And then when you get to the lead, you just hold them down and start questing a little by little. Yeah, winning the board is really important. On the play, you kind of automatically get a head start on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, then on the draw, you have to catch up. You have to
Mm-hmm.
overtake the board, and because they got a head start, you do your best to make it sure that they cannot stick anything on the board. Then after that, like in a situation where I have like 3 characters down and they play a single character on the board, I will Hades the character just to try and oppress the board. Yeah, I think having more characters on the board than your opponent is really important in all of Lorcana.
Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, do you utilize like your one drops a lot more on the draw to do that?
Yeah, like it's a really good line to go for 1 drop, then turn 2 play Zelda Azurite Sea and play another 1 drop.
Mm.
But yeah, the more characters you can put on the board, the better.
Mm.
But yeah, on the play, I might usually ink more 1 drops.
Right.
On the draw, it's sometimes better to have 1 on like turn 6. If you are not playing Demona, you can play a 1 drop and a 5 drop.
Right. So like Elsa and a one drop kind of thing, or Hades one drop kind of thing.
Yeah. Get more stuff on the board, and helps you if they try to recover, and then you play the Demona like 1 turn later when you are on the draw.
Okay.
And you have more characters on the board.
Right. That's a good point. Because I think that a lot of people will automatically ink their one drops on the draw to hold their stronger cards like Dumbo, Hades, things like that, right? Like like your more draw cards that you use when you're in a stalemate or when you're a little bit ahead, right?
Mm-hmm.
You find a lot of people do that too. They just end up holding those cards instead of inking them to play the one drop on the draw.
Yeah, like, yeah, I see that happening a lot.
Yeah.
But like when you're on the draw, winning the board by any means is so important.
We could even end the episode right there. That's the most important thing that people could learn.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's so important.
Okay.
Yeah, winning the board by all means necessary. That's like the approach that you take being on the draw.
Yeah. Like, I would love if we had a good board wipe in Blurple. Like, Spooky Side was something we chat about as well.
Mm-hmm.
But being an uninkable and against some decks with just 6 cost uninkable do nothing.
Yeah, it's a big brick sometimes, right?
Yeah. And especially if you are trying to play Demona, that brick is gonna make every Demona you play a little worse.
That's true. Speaking of bricking, a lot of at least Blurple lists we saw over the weekend, they cut Genie from their deck.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I can see it working against a deck like Dogs, where you are not trying to draw cards and quest out, but you are just trying to stop your opponent.
Mm-hmm.
In those kinds of matchups, I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
But against like Mirrors and Amber Sapphires and the
Purple Steel?
Where you have to play the tempo game, I still feel like it's a detriment. Like those matchups, they're not unwinnable without Genie, but
right,
they're a lot harder, and
that's for sure.
And it's like I think most of them were playing like Isis and not.
Yeah, they cut Genie to play Isis.
Yeah, and that's like it's 1 less evasive for your Rambo,
Okay.
Like if you take out the Genie, you have to change the deck quite a bit, I think.
Yeah, they all play 4 Iagos after cutting Genie to play Isis.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
need those other evasive characters. Some of them played Ursula.
Yeah,
The one
Ursula as well, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, Whisper Ursula, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I can see that, but I still think Genie is an MVP. Like Questing for 2 is just for winning the game, it's so good.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
Mm.
Because because the thing that I think a lot of the Blurple players are just like, we need to make sure we tech enough cards so that we can beat dogs.
Mm.
But at the same time, you want to have enough of your draw cards so that you don't lose like the purple mirrors too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I've seen a lot of people thinking this, that every card they tech for dogs, it makes your deck a little worse against everything purple. And same goes for vice versa. It's
Makes sense.
yeah, so like no card is like good tech for every deck, except for like Hades.
Okay,
It takes out a character. It doesn't matter which deck they are playing.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So then moving on to like how you prepared for this, because well obviously I mean you were preparing, you were playing a lot, you were testing a lot leading up to the DLC, but how do you approach preparing, practicing for an event that has made you successful?
Yeah. So it's really important to keep up with the meta. Like you have to know what the other people are playing. If you only know your own deck, then it won't be enough to beat the other decks. You have to know your outs to each deck, and
Okay.
of course the spoiler season was huge. You had to know all the new cards when they came out.
Right.
And this was so close to the release that you have to order the cards on day one if the tournament is this close to the release.
Right.
Like if I decided a week later to, okay, I want to put this card in my deck, I wouldn't have enough time to get it.
Okay.
I could have gotten cards in Ghent from the vendors. So that would have helped, but you never know. They might run out, they might not have the cards. So then I was talking a lot with other people about what decks are good, what new cards are good. And it just played a ton. I think
Play a 10. Okay.
Yeah, I think from the pre-release to Ghent, I played like 400 games.
Okay.
Or something like that.
Okay.
We also did some in-person testing here in Finland.
Okay.
There was like 4 of us in total that came to Ghent.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So then you mentioned that like you're staying on top of the meta.
Yeah.
You practice a lot of games, like 400 games I think you said you've played. Are you tracking anything after the games, or are you just like playing games?
I don't have a spreadsheet or anything where I track things like on paper, but I did keep like mental notes that what cards did help me with this matchup. And like in testing, I did try to always, when I was testing Tigger, whenever I was against dogs, I was just trying to get the Tigger and feel out, did it actually help? Was it good in this matchup or not?
Right.
And yeah, that was the one thing I think gave me a lot of results, like thinking, does this card do anything in this matchup? Is it worth it to keep in the deck? And it was a little easier because I know Blurple so well from the last sets.
Right.
So playing a deck you already know and just adding on to it is a lot easier than just learning a whole new deck.
Okay, makes sense.
When I got to like a point where I thought, okay, this deck feels good, I posted the deck for my friends and in the flower fun, and I asked for other people's opinions. Is there something wrong with the deck that I just don't see myself? Yeah, having other people look at the deck helps out, because when you keep playing and it feels good, you might become a little blind to the weak spots of the deck.
Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah, and when you are like playtesting alone in online, you might not see the specific situations where a card is just not that great.
Okay.
Yeah, if, for example, against, what's a matchup where Tigger does nothing? Blue-green.
Yeah, blue-green, blue-yellow even.
Yeah, like, if I just don't see those decks, how do I know that Tigger is not that great in those matchups?
You like you said, you get blinded, right? If you don't play it, you just don't remember really, or you don't really think about it too much.
Yeah, so it's good to ask from some like really critical eyes to take a look at your deck, so that you will get like good feedback, even like harsh feedback. Like, ask someone to pick apart your deck, to point out the worst case situations ever. Then think for yourself, well, how often would this realistically happen? If you think that, okay, I can deal with this, it's okay to lose in this situation, because there are situations you won't win in.
Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah, like every deck, well, most decks have the possibility to just go nuts, and you cannot catch up to them.
Right.
Like in my top 8 match, my opponent plays a Mickey Mouse Amber Champion.
Okay.
Then he goes Tramp 7. I don't see an under to see here. I'm gonna play another Tramp 7.
Okay.
How do you stop that?
I mean, you can't.
Yeah, I would need my own under to see. So that game, I just, at that point, I knew that, okay, I'm out. Of course, play to your outs, see the game through. There's always a chance they will brick and you'll get super lucky or something, but yeah, there are points when you can see that, okay, if a miracle doesn't happen, I've lost this.
Right. So it seems like, you know how when you lose to like your opponent just high rolling you and it feels really bad, and then people start to overtech for that because it feels bad when they do something where you can't control, right? But it seems like you're just like, well, if they have everything, like what can I do anyway? There's no point to tech for it, right?
Yeah, overteching the deck, it makes your deck better for usually just one situation.
Okay.
But usually it also means that it's worse in so many different situations.
Okay. Did you have like a scenario where that's what you ended up doing?
Not this set, I don't think.
Okay.
Like, I I am glad I did not put the libraries in the deck. They
Okay.
wouldn't have helped me at all against any other matchup.
Okay.
Round two
Okay.
would have been easier, but like keep the deck balanced.
Mm.
I think my friend only overtech a little for the dogs. Did you
Okay.
see him? He was on stream playing Ruby Steel.
No, I actually, I remember hearing about it, but I didn't watch it.
Yeah, like he
Yeah.
had 4 grab your balls in the deck.
Oh, okay.
He like 2-0'd every dogs he went against, but
Okay.
but it's a brick, I think. He played the
But
deck
against the
really
blue
good.
decks, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he has like angels to get it out and stuff like that, but
Okay.
I think he was a little over prepared for the dogs,
Okay.
and then it hurt his other matchups, I think.
Right. Okay.
And like even we know dogs is a good deck, and there will be a
Hmm.
lot of players playing it,
Hmm.
but oftentimes I think, including me, we don't realize that dogs is actually it's a hard deck to pilot. So not that many people will actually pick it up just because it's so hard to play. So even
That makes sense.
yeah, after seeing dogs win large tournaments, it was still only the third most played deck in Ghent.
Right. So you just kind of have to get a little lucky with your matchups. Also, like,
Yeah.
also realize that it's not 40% of the field, right?
Mhm. Yeah, you are. If you play the same deck for all 8 rounds, then
Yeah.
that would be crazy.
Yeah,
Then,
exactly.
then we might have a problem in the meta that one deck is too dominant.
Okay, fair enough. So then, before we end it off, do you think then there is a problem with the meta right now, with the way things are?
Not really. We have quite the diverse meta. Like
Mm,
some people are saying that Blurple is the problem because it's gatekeeping all the decks that are good against dogs.
yeah.
But like Blurple can beat dogs, dogs can beat Blurple, other decks can beat Blurple. You just have to be ready for them and like have the cards in your deck that beat the decks.
Mm, makes sense.
Yeah, I think you can build a lot of different decks that actually can beat dogs or can beat Blurple or both.
Right. Right.
It's just, yeah, you need to find the perfect balance of your deck.
Mm, okay. That makes sense. Makes
Genie.
sense. Cool. Well, Tony, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you being on. Are there any shout outs before we end off that you'd like to make?
Well, shout out to my friends who came into Ghent to play with me, Olli, Mikael, and Milka.
Mm.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming with me. And a huge shout out to you. You have been so helpful helping me get better in Lorcana since like
Oh, thank you.
set 7 set championships.
Mm.
Like I think I sent you a message in Metafy just asking about a couple of cards even without subscribing.
Mm.
Like I didn't even like think you would answer. I just tried it and it took you like 3 minutes and you answered me.
Mm.
And that was like, whoa, this guy really cares about the players. That's when I decided I would join the flower farm. Now there's gonna be 1,000 messages on your Metafy.
No, you're gonna make everyone message me.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, that wraps it up for today. Hope everyone enjoyed the episode, and we'll see you all in the next one. Bye.
Bye.